Wormhole task Stage 2 in Lake Ribiere, Quebec. Hello there everybody and welcome to another special episode of SnowRunner here at OpenFed Gaming. I am the OpenFed. Today we are in the Stage 2 part of the Wormhole task where we are going to attempt to deliver 2 pallets of drilling spare parts to the Quarry Site. Now we are at a warehouse at the top of the map, somewhere approximately in the middle, and we gotta go a little bit south, and then we gotta travel across the map to the left hand side and then come down south to where the quarry is. Now for those of you that are a little bit familiar with the map area, you know that on the left hand side of the map, west side, is where the port is to Lake Ribiere, and from there it's just a short little jaunt south. But in the meantime we are just leaving the warehouse and we are in the Avenhorn A15, the Mighty Avenhorn I call it. And the Wormhole task Stage 2 is part of the Routier Solutions Canada Inc contract. Now this particular task has 3 sections, and we did the first one the other day, and it should be up and around for you to view and enjoy, hopefully. And the 3rd stage will be coming up a couple of days from now, but we're in Stage 2 right now. Now luckily we don't have to drag any trailers or anything along the way. All we've got is just a truck with a flat deck, and it doesn't really matter what's on top of the flat deck. If you just got the truck, the Avenhorn by itself with the dualies, you know, it's a little bit easier route. It's one of my favorite trucks. I love the short little frame. That it's only got two cargo slots. Well, that's okay. I wish it had a crane. That would be really nice. But other than that, it's got a low center of gravity. It's got the dualies on the back. I got chains on there, and I got plenty of fuel. So you really can't complain with this truck. And if you have a job that only requires 2 cargo slots, this is probably one of your best bets to use to get the job done safely and in one swoop. Now we're gonna do our best to try and make it in one swoop and not get into any accidents, but it is a little bit touch and go through some of these areas here. Oh, we went a little bit too far. No, we gotta back her up, and we gotta cut to the right hand side there, in between those trees and over the ice. Now, like I said, it's a little bit difficult following the route here, but basically, like I said, it's the warehouse is in the middle, and you got to get to the left-hand side of the map one way or another. And that's what we're doing. We're climbing through mountains, going over frozen rivers, falling through ice, I might say, every once in a while, just like that. You got to try and read the ice. I've been preaching that to myself since we got to Quebec. You gotta learn to read the ice, and you can see some of the dark spots are a little bit more solid. Some of the white areas might be solid, but I wasn't too sure right here. So I figure if you're not too sure, the best thing I feel would be to stick to the side somewhere. And hopefully if you do fall through the ice, there's some solid ground underneath and you can dig your way back out of it. But not to worry, we got through it. Now we're going to be climbing back up out the other side. Now I like to run most of this part where you're 4-wheeling in the high range of the low gear. Reason being, for if you're in deep mud or snow and your truck is really laboring, the Avenhorn keeps wanting to shift down when you're in automatic, and it's just a constant battle. So if you put it in the high range of the low gear, not only do you save a little bit of fuel, but he can't shift because he's in the gear that he's in, and he gets a nice even pace, nice slow speed, which is probably about the speed that you should be driving at anyhow when you're 4-wheeling like this, because I mean, you don't want to go too fast in case something happens that you want to maybe be able to back out of. So I like this gear. Like I said, it gives me lots of torque. The Avenhorn's got lots of power, and we just chug through the deep snow a little bit at a time. Got to be a little bit careful in some of these areas. Make sure that you keep your truck as level as possible from left to right. And then when you got to go through a little bit of a watery area like this with some rocky area on the other side, I always try to go at it a little bit of an angle rather than straight on, especially with the Avenhorn, because he's got such a big front end. Now I waited a little bit too long before attacking the rock, so he didn't turn quite all the way. But we got the front wheels up there, and that's what matters. Once you get the front wheels up and you're in four-wheel drive and you got the diff lock on, she just claws up there like no tomorrow. Then along here, like most of it is fairly easy driving. There's a few little problem spots, like here's another one, but most of it is knowing the route. So once you've been driving the route, driving on the map for a while, you start to memorize the routes. But if you don't, like what I used to do when I first started playing the games, I put down the trackers, but I didn't like doing that anymore. I wanted to leave the trackers off the map. So if I really have a big problem and I'm not quite sure whether I should be turning left or right because I've only been on the road for once or twice maybe, what I do is I put a vehicle out, like a scout, because I got vehicles all over the map anyhow. And if you put it right where the turnoff is, and you'll see in a minute here when we climb up the hill, I got a little fuel trailer up ahead. And there again too, fuel trailer is a great little marker. It's there. Got extra fuel for you if you need it, plus it points the direction that you've got to go. So it helps you out in many different ways. Now as we're climbing up the hill here, I do believe that little fuel trailer is going to be sitting up above here on the left hand side somewhere. Maybe we're still a little ways away from it. See, sometimes when you're driving a road like, or a track like this, you've got to follow it out because there's nowhere you can go. But here there's a split. You can go left or right, but the trailer is pointing to the left, so the Opafet's going to turn left. And then he left the Tuz out here, my trusty old mobile fuel station and rescue vehicle, and he's telling me to go right, so we're going to follow this road out to the right. And then from here on, you don't really need any direction because you can only go one way. Although, I might have been able to use a little bit of help going over this ice because it looks like I've fallen through a couple of times here in a few places. But like I said, there again, you got to learn to read the ice. And in Quebec, it's not really too bad. The ice in areas like this, or even on the lakes where the ice kind of freezes over the lake, you're always guaranteed that there's going to be a few different passes or a few different ways that you can go to get across it. And there again, if you go slow, if you drive across and you start sinking through, back up and try somewhere else. If you go fast, you sink through, you're going to be recovering to the garage because you won't be able to pull yourself out because there's not always a tree to winch onto either. Now in this instance, if I had a problem, I'd just send the Tuz down to pull me out of any kind of an icy situation that I might get stuck in. So anyhow, through the magic of video editing, we moved the time zone ahead for us so we can start in the morning. And we're almost, we are at the side of the map, on the west hand side, about halfway up the map now. We're going to take a left hand turn here, and then go down the hill, and as we go down the hill, you'll be able to see the port. The port to harbor down by that red building on the right hand side. Now we don't want to go to harbor because the quarry is in Lake Ribiere. But when you're at the port, you know that you're halfway up the map on the left hand side. So we gotta continue on and head south now. And put it in automatic so we can go a little bit faster. And you should be able to see the port entry. There it is, right there. It just came up on your screen. But we're going to head off here in this direction. And now we're going south. And we're traveling right along the side of the map, going straight south. Now we've been on this particular part of the road a few times, so we know where we're going. It's a little bit of a climb, but with just the 2 pallets on the back, or 2 boxes, I guess you can call them, of drilling spare parts, that's really not enough weight to slow the Avenhorn down. He's just going to keep munching the snow until he gets up to the top. I tell you, this truck has got to be the ultimate snow climber, I believe. And here we got a little bit of a rocky ledge to climb up on. But not really too bad, not too steep. And I thought, you know, that when we came to Quebec, that we'd be done with the quarries once we left the Almaty region and the Zerbai quarries, but apparently not. Now the quarries in the Almaty region were a little bit bigger. This is a smaller one, but it doesn't make any difference. We still got to get to the bottom of it. And there's a couple of tight little turns in the quarry descent. But we're not there yet. Absolutely beautiful. Love driving this truck. If you don't have this truck in your garage yet, go out and get it. I tell you, you will not be disappointed. You can use this truck for almost anything. You can use it as a scout vehicle, a rescue vehicle, a mobile fuel station. You can do a lot of different things with it. And it's got power to burn and lots of torque. Now we're going to go straight down here in this direction, and that'll put us at the north end of a little city called Lakewood. Now normally if you had a trailer behind you, you'd have to, after we get down to Lakewood, you would have to turn to the right and go over the ice, because there's construction going on the main drag, so you would not be able to get through there. I'll show you where that is, just coming up here. Okay, well we're going to turn left. Now, had I had a trailer, you'd have to turn right and then follow the ice and then come back to the highway. But we're going to turn left, and there's a little break on the side there we can sneak through. But before we do that, I noticed that my fuel was getting a little bit low, so we're going to fuel up because the gas station is only just up here, so it's really not all that far away. And as you know, the open fit likes to keep the tank topped up, because you never know what you're going to need the vehicle for. Because when we finish this job, the Avenhorn will be at the bottom of the quarry, but there might be other things that we can take out of the quarry somewhere else again. So let's keep the tanks topped up. We'll just pull around, fill it up, move the time zone ahead, and let's go. Ontario Gas Company. And we're on our way again. Now we're just gonna sneak by that construction at the beginning of Lakewood, so I don't have to go around on the ice. Not that it's a real problem, it just takes a little bit longer, that's all. But it's very doable. But this is easier. I've gone through here with the Kenworth. Kenworth is a little bit longer truck, and I always seem to hit one of the cement blocks or the wall. But with the Avenhorn, it's a little bit easier because he's so short. And it probably shaves a little bit of time off your drive, rather than having to go over the ice. And we're back up on the ice road. Just a gently reminder, if the road is not covered in snow in Quebec or Amour, consider it an ice road. It probably is. But that's not an issue because we got chains on the Avenhorn, so we don't have to worry about that, and we can go a little bit faster. It's a little bit easier to drive on, and just at the top of the road here, we'll be getting off, four-wheeling again. Well, we'll be climbing off and jumping into the beginning of the quarry. Just up ahead here. And on the left-hand side. Now, unbeknownst to me, this was also a detour. Now, we're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, and you could bypass. If you wanted to go to the other side, you'd have to go around the quarry, or you could go this way. I didn't know that at first. But if you go this way, then you'd go straight here, and you'd bypass the whole quarry. But we want to go down, so we're going to hang it right here and go down inside the quarry. Like I said, I come down here with a long 5-slot trailer in the back and an oversized cargo container with the Avenhorn, a different Avenhorn, and I had a little bit of trouble coming down here. So this is going to be a little bit easier, no trailer and just a truck. It gives us a little bit more room. I just take this a little bit wider than normal. We should be able to make it in one turn. As you can see the quarry, you can see the black arrow and the yellow diamonds appeared on the screen. Well, it's been on the screen for a little while, but we weren't really that close yet. But now we are. Now over here, the one thing that they always try to do is see, ooh, the rocks are breaking apart. Some of these here little passages are a little narrow as we're going down, and the problem with these narrow areas is that they try to force the driver to drive closer to the hill, closer to the driver's side, and that is the worst thing to do. If you can manage it and just drive a little bit closer to the edge, then the problems on the driver's side won't be an issue. I'll show you, I'll explain what I mean in a second here, because we got one area coming through here that's really narrow. I believe it's almost narrower than the truck. And it's coming up right over here, and the next one right there. Now, I've been through, like I said, I've been through here a few times. The best thing to do is keep your right-hand side tires on top of those rocks. Do not try to go on the inside of it. Right over top of the trucks, because otherwise you'll get jammed in there with your truck. So, now over here, you want to go over and ride the edge. And by doing that, you'll stay away from the rock on the other side. But look at how close that was. Ay, ay, ay. A little bit further over, and I'm sure that the back end of the truck would have slipped off the ledge and would have met you at the bottom. That wouldn't have been a lot of fun. But we made it through, and we're coming up around the corner. We got almost at the bottom, I would say. Just a little ways further to go. There we go. Almost there. Well, I tell you, they sure did a really nice job on this game. Just absolutely loved playing this game. Had a great time. This particular job was an easy job, but to get here, the different routes and the way you had to go, and a few little incidents, but nothing really too harsh or too much of a problem or issue. But we're finally here, we're down here, and we're only a little bit away from the drop-off. point, and we're gonna have another successful delivery. Absolutely awesome. I hope you enjoyed the video, maybe got a tip or trick out of it, and I hope to see you back for the third and final stage coming up in a few days. Until then, you've been driving in a Mighty Avenhorn A15, delivering 2 big boxes of drilling spare parts. With me as your driver, the Oberfed.